I don't know. Here's the thing with Kareem Hunt to me. He's not coming back to Cleveland. So you got to look at it as the Browns, what can we get for him? If we can get a third or a fourth, great. And it's a trade deadline day version of Good Morning NFC East today. Good morning, NFC East. Jeff Kerr from CBSSports.com here. So DeShields, my man, my quarterback, he's here as well. So I guess we can start with this. Do we expect the Eagles to do anything? Do you think there's going to be any brewing at the last minute?
Well, first, good morning to you, Jeff. I do think there's going to be one move. It's just a matter of where are the resources going to be allocated. So are we going to allocate those resources to trading for extra safety, a third safety? They could definitely use that. We all saw what Kavon Wallace looked like. I would like to see Reed Blankenship, with some snaps. That's how bad Kavon Wallace looked at times. I think Reed Blankenship could at least give you something. And then maybe potentially allocating resources to a running back. The word is Kareem Hunt may be available, but they did blow out the Bengals, and the Saints ended up blowing out the who did they play? Wow. It lost me that fast.
That was the Raiders.
The Raiders, yes, they smashed the Raiders. So both of those teams who were rumored to have running backs on the market, both those teams won. So their record is one game better. So it really all depends on who's available. But I'm curious to know, is there anything you've heard around the grapevine? I mean, you are the writer, right? You have your sources, right, Jeff?
Well, let me tell you, sources or not, no, Alvin Kamara ain't getting traded. I'm just going to say that right now. That's a bunch of hogwash.
That's the wish list, right?
Yeah. So let's put it this way. This ain't Madden, Tone. This ain't fantasy football where you could swindle somebody here. Oh, the Saints want their first-round pick from the Eagles back. Of course they do. They split it up.
They're not getting that
it's
back.
It's going to be a top-5 pick. Would the Saints trade Kamara for a first-round pick? Absolutely. I don't think they're going to. So, no, that's a pipe dream. Kareem Hunt, there might be something there. But, again, he did play last night and played a lot, actually. So, again, we'll see. Maybe if the Browns would really be auditioning Kareem Hunt to teams, I don't know. Here's the thing with Kareem Hunt to me. He's not coming back to Cleveland. So you got to look at it as the Browns, what can we get for him? If we can get a third or a fourth, great. But what's the reality of that situation here? I know the Buffalo Bills want a running back. Devin Singletary made a case that shouldn't be the case, but I think Kareem Hunt ultimately goes somewhere at the end of the day. But again, it depends on the Browns' asking price because Browns are in it right now. And the Bengals, without Jamar Chase, you saw last night, they're not exactly that great. And Cleveland may have a shot because they're going to get one of the biggest assets of all in Deshaun Watson when he comes back. So maybe they keep him, but I think if the price is right, and again, this is with a lot of players, I think Kareem Hunt does go on the move. But overall, I wouldn't expect anything with Alvin Kamara. That's just my honest opinion.
Yeah, same here. The Alvin Kamara rumors were definitely fun to talk about, but it definitely was more of those.
That's all they are. It's just it's empty calories, Tone.
Yep, empty calories, junk food, right? Junk food. Yep. So, that brings us to the safety portion of it, right? Have you heard of any safeties that may be available? I mean, and also we got to keep in mind that 9 times out of 10, the Eagles are going to be trading with a team out of conference because they're not going to bother to assist or add to an in-conference foe's repertoire or their assets come, for draft time.
I haven't heard anything, quite honestly. That's the thing. Everybody keeps things so close to the vest. And, I think the Eagles probably need a third safety more than they need a running back. That's just a luxury right now. I mean, you said it yourself, Kayvon Wallace just isn't good enough, Tone. Let's face it. But that's been the problem with the safety position the whole year. That's why they went out and traded for CJ Gardner-Johnson, and it's worked out well for them because, and they needed a starter there outside of Marcus Epps. Could they get someone else? Yeah, I would like to see them do it. Do you bring someone familiar in, like Rodney McLeod? Maybe. I mean, I don't see why the Colts would want to give him up, and you did turn the page on that before. Maybe Anthony Harris, he's on the practice squad right now. Maybe just bring him back, and you don't have to give up anything. But I think
He's
teams
savvy.
know.
He knows the defense. He knows what you're trying to accomplish. So, you'll be able to bring up a veteran guy and not really leverage any assets in the process.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm looking at it as I think the Eagles might do something today. But again, these trades are hard to get done. But as we saw, it might be a player you never heard of. Like, I don't think anybody expected Roquan Smith to actually get traded yesterday. And he got traded to the Baltimore Ravens and for a second, fifth round pick. And I really like that trade for Baltimore. They need somebody at the mic. Josh Bynes has been more than serviceable for them since he came back to Baltimore, but he's on the latter stages of his career. He's 33 years old. Their defense has been playing better, but now Bynes going back in the reserve role was great. Now you got Smith, you got Queen. That's an impact move, and we might see an impact move or two today. It's trade deadline day, and I know there are a lot of mediocre teams here, but I gotta say this, Tone. Since this is an MCE show, we gotta talk about it.
Right.
You think the Giants do anything?
They're one of the more fascinating teams during the trade deadline because everyone knows they're in a rebuild mode, but clearly they're winning. It's kind of similar. It's kind of similar to what the Eagles did last year. Like, obviously they were retooling or rebuilding, but they still managed to win or make the playoffs. So I think it'll be good for this organization's stature or standing in the league to show that they're always thinking about winning. If they continue to keep up their winning ways, don't stop your winning because you're trying to get a better draft pick, or don't make a move at the trade deadline because you want to still keep in mind that we're rebuilding. Keep winning, and if you feel like you can catch someone slipping in the playoffs in the wild card, make a move, because at the end of the day, it's only going to build that culture it's only going to fortify that culture that Daboll is trying to build. So I think they do make a move. I wouldn't be surprised if it was for a wide receiver. They already sent Kadarius Toney away. They got some picks back. So I wouldn't be surprised if it was like a skill position guy to help Daniel Jones.
They need significant help at the wide receiver position. There's no doubt about it. I mean, you have Richie James, you have David Sills, Kenny Galladay just can't see the field, and he's been hurt anyway. Like you said, they traded away Kadarius Toney. Another guy, empty calories. He wasn't providing anything for you. He was literally a little junk food. So, Daniel Bellinger's hurt. Yeah, they need help in the passing game bad. And I don't know what they'll actually do that. I don't know if they have the salary cap room to actually kind of make a big splash there, but you got to do something. You got to try to improve a little bit. But they are kind of like the Eagles last year. It's like, and honestly, they were in better shape. The Eagles, the trade deadline, they were 3-5.
Yeah,
the Giants are 6-2. I mean, you have a legit chance here. So, I guess you can maybe try to call Odell, but who knows? He's going to be back December. That ain't going to help you in the long run. So you might want to get someone in here now. I just don't know what they can actually get, who's going to be available. I know they're interested in Brandon Cooks. I will say that. But
yeah, I've been hearing a lot of Brandon Cooks rumors lately.
And Brandon Cooks deserves to be traded. That offense is a mess.
He's been producing for those guys though, and it's been going unnoticed. I think he had over 1,000 yards last year or the year before, something like that. He's been producing for them, but he's in a situation where no one's watching, no one cares. It's the Houston Texans. It's like the armpit of the NFL. You know what I mean? Like people forget about it.
You know when Jeff Kerr cares about the Houston Texans? When they do something bad. It's kind of funny how that works. Like, they were so bad on Sunday. Like, man, I thought they'd be better than this year, and they're not. Like, Davis Mills had a good finish of the year last year. I was excited about him. I'm really excited about Dameon Pierce. That's why I watch the Texans.
He's a really good running back.
Yeah, to watch Derek Stingley, good player. Like, there are players on that team, but they're just not good. It's a really bad product. And when they rallied when they were beating the Colts in week 1, and again, week 1, you don't know you're bad yet. And the Colts came back on them and tied them. I'm like, all right, Texans are making a step here, even though that's a bad tie for them.
Right.
Haven't done anything since. I mean, they got a win, but that's it. They're bad.
Let me ask you this. What do you think the Cowboys do if they do make a move? Because, they start, well, yeah, right. Their first move was bringing in run stopper, the defensive tackle from the Raiders, Jonathan Hankin, which was a pretty good move, even though they got ran up on over the weekend.
They gave up like 240 yards in his first game, but yeah, I guess we could say
that's and granted, I'm pretty sure he has to acclimate himself to the scheme and what they're asking him to do, so on and so forth. But that's something that wow, you trade for a guy to stop the run and you give up 200 yards the next day. That's kind of funny. It's ironic actually. But what do you think the Cowboys do post Robert Quinn trade? Because they made the move for Jonathan Hagan. Eagles responded with Robert Quinn. Jerry Jones, knowing him, he has something up his sleeve, but it's just a matter of what. What move do you think they could make or should make? Where do you think they're most weak right now in the Dallas Cowboys?
What the Cowboys are going to do? Nothing. Because that's Jerry Jones's DNA. He never does anything to trade deadline. The Amari Cooper move 4 years ago, that was rare for him. He does not do that unless he knows he can get an impact player. And Jerry Jones just doesn't do anything at trade deadline, bottom line. Like the Jonathan Hankins trade you saw last week, that's the move he makes if he makes anything. They just don't make moves at the trade deadline. He's perfectly content with the receivers he got, and I get it. They're getting better by the week. He's going to get James Washington back at some point. Dalton Schultz is healthy again. He's not going to make a move on the offensive line. This is stuff Jerry Jones just doesn't do. And maybe this is why the Cowboys haven't won a Super Bowl since VHS was prevalent. They just don't make these splashy moves. I'll be shocked if Jerry Jones does anything today. He just doesn't do that stuff.
Would you consider Jerry Jones to be an aggressive GM?
Not recently.
Because we know Howie Roseman is aggressive. He goes for it. So,
not recently, Jerry Jones hasn't been aggressive. I mean, he's aggressive in paying his own players and keeping his own talent and drafting. Free agency, not recently. Remember the last big name free agent the Cowboys signed?
The last big name free agent? Oh wow,
think about that.
That's a good question because I almost said Amari, but that was a trade, so that don't count.
Yeah, they paid Zeke, but they drafted him.
They drafted him.
They paid Amari, but they traded for him. Think about this.
Wow, that's a really good question.
They drafted DeMarcus Ware.
I was about to say DeMarcus Ware. But
drafted him too. Honestly, the last big free agent they signed is probably Terrell Owens.
That was my next thought. But that was such a long time ago.
I know. That was 16 years ago. They just don't make these moves.
I mean, that shows they do a good job at drafting guys. They do a good job at, they do. And you got to give credit where credit is due, despite my disdain for the Dallas Cowboys and their entire fan base. But, it is what it is. But this trade deadline is going to be really fascinating because you're going to see a lot of teams who are contenders make a move to try to fortify their rosters and give them a better chance at going all the way. And then you're going to have teams who are essentially sellers, like you said. Who do you think are some of the main sellers right now?
Oh, man. Well, the Chicago Bears have already kind of started that trade going. They traded Robert Quinn. They traded Roquan Smith. I heard they're not done. So Dave Montgomery might be on the market here. Houston Texans, I think, will be sellers. I don't think Jacksonville will be. They're building something there. They're not in that mode per se. I think the Rams should sell. I don't think they're going to because that's just not in their DNA. It's tough.
I mean, they have no draft picks. They should sell something.
No, that's the thing. They got to restock the cupboard here. They just don't have anything.
Absolutely.
This trade deadline is weird, Tone, because there are a lot of teams I think that shouldn't do anything and just kind of take their lumps, like the Rams. The 49ers already made their aggressive move, and I think that was a good move for them. I think Carolina Panthers are sellers. But, teams like the Seahawks and the Falcons and the Giants and the Bucks, I don't think they should really do anything. Maybe the Bucks will because it's Tom Brady's last year. That's what I think anyway. But I don't think they should. I don't think the Saints should do anything. There's a lot of teams where I'm just like, you know what, just stand pat, just stay out of it. You know, let the Kansas City Chiefs, Buffalo Bills, Philadelphia Eagles, let the teams that actually have a shot at the Super Bowl, the Dallas Cowboys, but they don't do that stuff. So let them, you know, kind of eat the grapes at the King's table this year. You know, don't make moves when you don't have to.
Hey, man, it's just that simple. We have our guy Kevin Bullard behind the scenes, ready to come up for the next segment. Jeff, man, you know, again, this trade deadline, like you said, it might be one of the more boring ones.
Oh,
Outside, say it
another
again.
team, Washington. I wouldn't do anything if I'm Washington.
Nah, yeah, Washington shouldn't do. Yeah, that's a good point. Washington, I mean, what do they? They're kind of in middle of the pack. They're a 500 team, literally. So, I don't think they should trade for anybody. And I don't think they should trade
They might
anybody
not have
either.
to. I mean, their biggest
Maybe,
trade deadline acquisition's injured and is close to coming back, and Chase Young.
yeah, maybe they trade Antonio Gibson. I don't know.
I don't think they do. I think they
Yeah.
like him and Brian Robinson together.
Okay. All right. But yeah, you guys are locked in on Good Morning NFC East. He's Jeff Kerr. I'm your guy, Tone DeShields II. Next up, we have our guy, Kevin Borlard. Keep it locked, you guys. You don't want to miss this.